Hi there guys, it's Vibrant bringing you a special audio commentary. What it is it's the title page for chapter 15, and I decided to go ahead and color it. What I'm trying to teach myself to do here recently is, well, I'm sure you've seen the images by now, but I'm trying to teach myself how to shade colored images, and yeah, I've never really done shading before, so I'm trying to teach myself how to do it, and just decided to, as I've been putting it, go all out with pictures, just coloring them, shading them, and things like that. And so with this title page, I went ahead and recorded myself editing it, and so we'll be able to see it from beginning to end, just going through, cleaning it up like I'm here now, just cleaning up the image, coloring it, adding the tones, and then I go through doing the shading, and basically just finish the image and make it all pretty. So yeah, it's the videos, I took breaks, but I have 3 videos, and essentially they come up to about 3 hours or so. I haven't really looked, but in my new movie editor here, it only lets me speed it up by so much. So it's not even going as fast as I would want it, and so I was kind of gonna go through and explain everything I was doing, but it takes up, all the video takes up about 4 videos here on YouTube, or actually 5 videos, and so that's 50 minutes of me explaining, now I'm doing this, now I'm doing this. So instead what I decided to do, just this first video, I'm going to kind of go over what I do in Manga Studio and some of the things I will do in later videos. And then, well, the next videos will be a little bit of a surprise and see how I mix it up there. So I guess you can look forward to that. So yeah, with this first video, I just scanned in the image that I drew on paper and everything and inked in the end. Basically when I ink, I just kind of use a ballpoint pen. I don't use anything fancy, and so it scans in okay, and but it does kind of get a little rough, just depending on how it scanned and how well of a job I did inking. So whenever I scan an image, the first thing I do with it basically is go through and clean it up. Or I kind of make sure all the lines are connecting so I can use my fill bucket. I clean up any blobs from the ink or whatever. Sometimes I miss lines with the pen, so I have to draw them in and things like that. Just edit the picture and make it complete and clean it up a little bit. And depending on the image, it can take a while, and depending on how well of an inking job I did and how good a pen I was using, it can take, well, depending on the page, anywhere between 15 minutes to an hour. This particular image wasn't too bad. I don't think it took me very long, like maybe half an hour, and that's kind of being generous. So that's what this first video is comprised of, me just going through and erasing things that weren't supposed to be there, cleaning it up. And you'll notice sometimes I erase a line and redraw it with the line tool. That's just if a line just can't be salvaged, or if I just am too lazy to erase just part of it. If I just get rid of the whole thing and redraw it, it's quicker sometimes. And later, after I get it all cleaned up, the next thing I'll do is use the fill bucket to fill in the colors. And in Manga Studio, you can only have 2 colors on a layer, so I'll also be creating layers as I go. So yeah, I just use the fill bucket and different layers to fill in different colors. And in Manga Studio you can select different percentages. I'm not really sure how to explain it, but how bright the color is essentially, and how much white will be in it. And I really don't have a really good way of explaining that, sorry, but basically the color by itself would be 100%, and then just lighter and lighter colors will be different percentages, lower percentages. So I'll create the layers, and I can make even just one layer give me kind of different variations on a color, just depending on the percentage that I select when I fill it. And with the fill bucket, I have the option that it will fill all layers, and so instead of just filling up on that layer, it'll still fill it just on the one layer, but it'll also use lines from different layers. So like the image itself is called layer 2. That's just the default one that I rarely change, but it uses, if I fill in like Jaws' head here, it'll use the lines from layer 2 as where to stop the fill. I'm sorry I'm not really explaining that well. I don't really know how really well to explain it if you don't really know how Manga Studio works. Just like I've said, if you want a proper tutorial video, maybe I'll do one at some point, but I'm just kind of covering the basics and trying to explain it the best I can, but I really am not good at doing things like that. I just kind of use the Manga Studio jargon. So I hope it's at least vaguely clear. Anyway, so after I fill in the colors, in this video, the next thing I did was I added the background tone. I didn't really feel like drawing a background, so I just used a tone. And then you can see kind of Hilary's in the middle of this image here. I go around her, and right now, we're just real quickly, since I'm doing it in the video right now, but right now I drew her head a little bit too big, so I made a copy of it, and just of her head, and erased her old head, and then adjusted her head to the size I wanted it, which is something I think the tool that I can just select part of an image is called the marquee tool. That's what I want to say it's called. I don't really pay attention to the names, I just use the tools and get the job done. So yeah, that's kind of a handy thing, especially since I often tend to draw Hilary's head a little too big. Sometimes alter it and sometimes I don't. And this time I did. I should have also altered her, I think it's her right arm. I should have shortened it just a little bit, but I ended up not wanting to because it would be too much work to adjust the background. So anyway, with Hilary in the middle, I wanted to kind of separate her from the Pokemon in the background, so I put a glow around her, which is something I did with the paintbrush tool, which is something I've been using more. And then after I did that, I go through and add the shading using a different layer and a marker tool, just adding a gray to where I wanted it shaded. And I'm still trying to learn how to shade, so I don't think I got any of the angles right. It's more of just me practicing how to do it. Alright, so that's my process in a nutshell, and so I hope you will join me in the next videos for your surprise, and bye!